My religion, for lack of a better word, is one of curiosity, where we want to expand the scope and scale of consciousness on Earth and beyond Earth, and ultimately to other star systems. And in order to do that, we need to increase the number of conscious beings, and we need to advance technology such that we can have a self-sustaining city on Mars, ultimately populate the whole solar system, and then go beyond our solar system to other star systems. And therefore, we need more humans. Pretty simple.
So, I mean, that's an amazingly different goal than what we've had for the past.
Yeah, well, I propose this as a new philosophy.
Yeah.
Well, not new, but maybe niche. But hopefully getting a bit bigger. So, you know, with that philosophy in mind, the purpose of that philosophy is that the more we expand the scope and scale of consciousness, the more we are able to understand the reality that we live in, the nature of the universe, and to answer the questions that we have, and perhaps more importantly, to know what questions we are not asking. As Douglas Adams would say in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that the answer is the easy part, the question is the hard part. You know, answer's 42, what's the question? So I think that's a pretty optimistic, positive philosophy. Also has a lot of room for other beliefs if you want to add them to, you know. Mm-hmm. But the fundamental tenets of my belief structure are expand the scale of consciousness. I mean, more people. I guess more computers too, to the degree that they are conscious. And we want to pass through one of the great filters that, you know, you're familiar with the Fermi paradox and the great filter?
No.
Okay, so Enrico Fermi, great, amazing physicist, posed a very simple question. He said, where are the aliens? Because we've seen no sign of them. Now, a lot of people think they've seen signs of aliens. I've seen no evidence whatsoever of aliens. So it's a troubling question. Why not? So one of the answers, perhaps the most likely answer, is that we're it. That the tiny candle of consciousness that constitutes humanity is all that there is in this vast darkness. And I think we should assume that is the case until we actually affirm evidence to the contrary. And moreover, human consciousness only arose after 4.5 billion years. So it took a long time. And if it had taken even 10% longer, it probably would not have evolved, because the sun is expanding. As the sun expands, it'll start heating Earth, and Earth will, the oceans will evaporate, will become more like Venus, inhospitable to life. So I think we may have achieved consciousness, or consciousness that's capable of developing technology just in time. I find it remarkable that we are at this point in history where we are able, for the first time, to go beyond Earth, to send people. We sent people to the moon in the early 70s, but have since not gone back. But with the Starship rocket that SpaceX is developing, we've had 2 test flights, we'll have many more this year. That vehicle is designed to make life multiplanetary. It's the first vehicle that is capable of doing that. A permanent base on the moon and a city on Mars. So I think we want to get that done as soon as possible. The window of opportunity to make life multiplanetary and secure the future of consciousness may be open for a long time, or it may be open for a short time. I think it would be wise to not assume that it'll be open for a long time.
So,
and act now to make life multiplanetary.
One of the things that's fascinating about what you're saying is that it assumes an innate level of belief and in love for human beings.
Yes.
And so
I love humanity. So
why? I mean, it's a weird question, but I mean, really, kind of why? I mean, we're not that great. I mean, we have amazing capabilities. But we can be angels, we can be devils. Obviously, we have the capacity for all of the things in between. What do you think makes, aside from just the qualities that theoretically could be duplicated by AI in the very near future. What makes human beings unique and worthwhile?
I'll tell you something. So that I think that maybe resonates is like, I think actually everyone loves humanity. Now they may not love everyone in humanity, but you say how many people want to be in solitary confinement? Okay, how many people want to live alone in a forest by themselves? Almost no human beings want to do that. So actually, in reality, all humans love humanity and want to be part of humanity. Almost, with the rare exception of someone who's got severe psychological issues. So that's why solitary confinement is considered a terrible punishment in prison. Because even though other prisoners are probably they're not the finest examples of humans, you still want to hang out with them. So I think it's a natural thing. As long as kids aren't taught to hate other people, I think the natural inclination is to love humanity.
Are you struggling with back taxes or unfiled returns this year? The IRS is escalating collections by adding 20,000 new agents. So just get ready. In these challenging times, your best defense? Use Tax Network USA. Along with hiring thousands of new agents and field officers, the IRS has kicked off 2024 by sending over 5 million pay-up letters to those who have unfiled tax returns or balances owed. These guys are not your friends. Don't waive your rights and speak with those agents on your own without backup. Tax Network USA, a trusted tax relief firm, has saved over $1 billion in back taxes for their clients. They can help you secure the best deal possible. Whether you owe 10 grand or 10 million bucks, they can help. Whether it's business or personal taxes, whether you have the means to pay or whether you're on a fixed income, Tax Network can help finally resolve your tax burdens once and for all. Seize control of your financial future right now. Don't let those tax issues overpower you. Contact Tax Network USA for immediate relief and expert guidance. Call 1-800-245-6000 or visit tnusa.com/Shapiro. Turn to Tax Network USA. Find your path to financial peace of mind. That's tnusa.com/Shapiro. I want to go back to some of the business conversation, then I want to go back to the SpaceX of it. When it comes to business, what do you see as sort of the biggest obstacles to not only the success of your companies, but to success generally? Because there seems to be this idea abroad that people can't duplicate the path. That basically, it used to be that people like you could succeed, but now it's totally finished and now you can't get ahead.
In America, nothing's changed in that regard as far as I'm aware. There are, new companies being formed all the time in the U.S.
Well, what do you see as the obstacles to companies being successful increasingly in the West, if there are obstacles to that?
Well, I think excess regulation. Taxes do ratchet up every year, making it a little difficult, a little harder every year as taxes ratchet up. But the regulatory creep is, I think, a massive danger. So laws and regulations are immortal. But the regulators and the lawmakers make new rules and regulations and laws and regulations every year. And so you have this, so every year you've got this sort of another layer of laws and regulations. And it starts getting to the point where everything's illegal. You can't get anything done. Now you say, well, how did they deal with it in the past? Well, the way they dealt with it in the past, there'd be a war. And the war would wash away the old laws and regulations. We literally would take a war to change things. Like Napoleon, establishing the Napoleonic Code from that overrode the old law systems of the sort of lords and peasants, and it was for all that the bad that Napoleon did, I think he did more good actually. So the evidence is in that I think maybe a third or a half of all countries on Earth still run on the Napoleonic Code. So now we prefer to have some cleanup process for laws and regulations that doesn't require war. That'd be nice. I think that's something we need to institute, like basically garbage collection for laws and regulations.